Hello, hello! This is the GeForce SC2 Pro-Am presented by NVIDIA round of 16 winners bracket action with Slayer's Boxer in the top right, tied 2-2 with his little apprentice, Slayer's Taeja, also tied 2-2.
Wow,
in
both
the bottom
players
left.
tied up. Wow, imagine that. Anyways, I'm Husky.
I'm Day 9.
And Sean, I was trying to do some math, which I should never attempt around you because you'll just crush me. But that last game, about 7 minutes, I feel like you could fit like 10 to 15 of those games in that Boxer game from MLG. Remember that extremely long one? I remember that.
Man.
I cast a best of 3 that went to a third game. We finished our whole series. You guys were still casting that TvT. But that just shows you the validity. It's a validity, volatility. Volatility. God, you're so smart.
I'm a math major!
Of TvT, Sean. It can end in the first 7 minutes. It can end in the first 2 hours. So, again, the map is Shakura's Plateau. I don't know what to expect here, but is Boxer going the same thing?
You know, Husky, I do know what to expect. You see a barracks get planned. It's going to be a factory. He's going to get the tech lab add-on to that barracks, build a Reaper, build a Hellion out of the first factory before switching it with the barracks, giving the tech lab to the barracks, getting the Blue Flame Hellion, then following it up likely with a starport, going to get a reactor on that barracks, not going to use it for a brief period of time because he wants to give that to the factory, after which he will build another reactor with that barracks, begin double Marine, double Hellion production, get 3 Banshees while expanding, and anything can come out of Taeja.
I hope you guys wrote that down. Wow, now that we have nothing to talk about for the next 15 minutes. Anyways, spawning in the bottom left side, we could just repeat the whole intro once again, but it does look like Taeja is going to be throwing down his barracks right now. He already has his gas, but this gas is going to be delayed compared to Slayer's Boxer, which we have seen time and time again. But I don't know here, Sean, because Boxer played so well in those last games. Taeja, he had a huge decision to make last game, and he made it perfectly, and it ended up winning it. But he didn't win in a, sort of a long-style game. So is he going to be able to go toe-to-toe here with Boxer in the very, very last game? There goes that factory right there. Everyone raise your hand if you're surprised by that. No one should be raising their hands, but it does look like Taeja. Wait, what?
We see a tech lab. He's doing the same damn thing.
Now he's going to do that delayed wall in right here. And so the predictability of Boxer in the series, you already mentioned it, Sean. Do you want to talk about it again for just a second? Because a lot of people skip to game number 5 because they're lame. I'm just kidding. I love everyone.
Boxer is the kind of player who loves repetition of strategy. He is not going to go for a gimmicky win, which is a very dangerous thing to do. Because if you prepare a really cool strategy that will work brilliantly once or twice, you have basically put yourself back to square number 1 every single time your opponents figure out your style.
Yeah.
But in this position, Boxer doing the same thing again and again. It is a stable style. He can work on it, refine it, make it better and better. There's been many times that we've seen players essentially use one style with great success for 8-9 months. I'm thinking about Flash's really fast +2/+1 style in Brood War.
Oh, yeah.
No one could figure out how to break that.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Brood War players still around, still kicking it in the pro scene, and Flash still pretty damn good. So right now, the Reaper looks like he's going to try and move out, and Sean, it looks like he's going to be doing the Hellion Reaper harass, and on this map, it's such a long rush distance that it looks like he's scouting around here. Still hasn't found his opponent quite yet. But on this map, since it takes so long to get over there, this bought the time for the Hellion to catch up because the production does get the Reaper out a little bit earlier. He is going to poke in here, see what's going on. Look at this from Taeja, once again getting the double starport. Is it going to be scouted, though? It looks like the Hellion's going to see exactly what's going on, or is he? Is he far enough over there to spot it? I think that he sees it and knows exactly what to expect. So can Boxer react accordingly to what he sees? Can we just triple check to make sure? Yes, Sean, he did see it. So does Boxer know the correct response here? Because he's going to have to alter his build a little bit. We saw what happens in last game when he does not.
Well, thus far, he has not altered a damn thing, Husky.
Oh, man.
Very, very bold to see no engineering bay being planted in the slightest. Looks like he will be going straight for that early expand. He knows that, you know what, maybe got to cut this Hellion production. He will be immediately moving cross the map. We see Viking number 1 by Slayer's Taeja. But with these Hellions moving at the front, could see a couple of problems. There's the wall off from Boxer, or wall off from Taeja. Boxer, though, potentially in a little bit of trouble, has one Viking out. He's keeping it over the SCV so that way he can get the mass repair down. And once again, Boxer showing the versatility of this style.
Now he is harassing the entrance here. The Banshee is going to push this out. This is buying Boxer just a little bit of time. Boxer has also started making double Vikings, so he is finally going to be altering that build just a little bit. He has saved his Hellions, can easily repair those up if he decides to continue using them, which of course he does have the Blue Flame. So he wants to, I believe he has a Blue Flame anyway, so he wants to make sure to continue keeping those at full health if possible. But I really like this from Boxer right here as he's continuing the Viking production. He knows this is quickly becoming a battle for air supremacy. Already has 2 more Vikings in the queue. And Sean, do you think this is exactly what he needs to do here in this situation going against double Starport?
I definitely think that this is a smart play by Boxer. I mean, if he can just dominate the skies, then all of a sudden he also has dominance on the ground. He has the Blue Flame Hellion upgrade. We don't see that out yet for next Taeja, who's just now starting his Blue Flame. The Banshee's now arriving in the main base, but we see 1 Viking fall. Can he get the second one? He does get it,
wow,
losing nothing at all.
And you mentioned the mass repair. It does look like a couple SCVs will be pulled off the line to do just that. Boxer being very cost-effective here. Hasn't lost any of these very important units. He's continuing now to get out a Viking. But, Sean, this time he is going to be going up against a Raven of his opponent. It's on the way right now, nearly completed there. That point defense drone always proving to be extremely potent. And it's one of those units that if you place it perfectly, it seems almost unkillable. But if it's in the wrong place, then it just seems like a huge waste of money and investment. So a lot of this, I think, will come down to the positioning of that point defense drone. Looks like Boxer taking his expansion right now. This will be a little bit ahead. Just going to take a look here at the units tab. It's 32 SCVs to 34. Boxer looking to whittle that number down a little bit. But he's going to go up there and see, well, there's no expansion here quite yet.
Well, Taeja's, interestingly, already getting ready to do the mass air play. We see this happen a lot in the late game where players will have the Viking battlecruiser count, occasionally going Viking Banshee. Before then, we see Boxer popping right back into his usual mech mix.
Right.
1 add-on with a tech lab, 2 reactors. This is very uncommon to see that many Hellions on a map that is this closed off. On maps like Xel'Naga Caverns with a little more openness, it's more common to see some Hellions out there, but in this circumstance, Boxer really wanting to ramp up the aggression, and this devotion to air that we're seeing out of Taeja might come back to help him despite its early failure.
Oh, absolutely, Sean. I mean, we don't see many more Vikings quite on the way yet for a Boxer. He may not be expecting this. This is a build that I've seen, you know, I mean, Taeja does it extremely early, but I have seen Terran players attempt to go for the Viking Banshee, but recently just seeing the Ravens mixed in. So it's going to be an interesting spot because both players will have several air units, but Boxer now is transitioning into a lot of tanks. You can see 1 tank spawning there. A second one is going to be on the way fairly soon. Looks like he decided to swap out the reactor instead of Hellions, go ahead and start that Viking production again. So, I mean, it is an interesting spot because are these siege tanks really going to do anything if he's more focused on going against mass air? And if Taeja finds himself in a spot where he has Banshees killing those ground units, it's going to be great for him. But if he finds himself in a situation where he loses those air units, all he's going to have is Hellion versus siege tanks. So each of these armies has a huge strength and a fairly wide open weakness, and it's just going to come down to which player can exploit the weakness more.
And it looks like we do see an advance out by Boxer. There's the 1 barracks by Taeja floating up to the front. The unit counting station, we see that the Hellion count a little higher for Boxer, and the tank count's really going to help him out as well. The big key for Taeja is these Banshees. They're going to need to do absolutely massive damage. And oh my goodness, a potential counterattack. It looks like Taeja does a great job catching these Hellions off guard. There's 1 auto turret planted at the front, and Boxer is just going to go for it. He's just storming right up into the main, and here comes the big Air Force. Both players will be throwing down their respective point defense drones, and there's some nice micro by Taeja, dropping everything to the low ground, and the Banshees are doing wonders. But here come the Hellions into the main.
Can he kill a lot of SCVs here, Sean? I'm curious as to why Boxer didn't do a defense drone, rather doing the auto turrets. We'll see if it's going to pay off here. It looks like Hellions now roasting away the SCVs, but the SCVs have safely escaped to the right side. Nice focus firing there with the Banshees, but the expansion SCVs are getting absolutely annihilated here. 11 kills, 12 kills on those Hellions, and that is devastating losses there. It is now 81 supply for Boxer to the 68, and I feel, Sean, like 31 workers have been killed there. I'm still wondering about the point defense drone rather than the auto turret rather than the point defense drone, but I mean, he was still able to do a lot of damage there, so Boxer does what Boxer wants, and he was able to do devastating damage.
And we see the full ring of turrets by Boxer, feeling very, very scared about that air superiority from next Taeja. Excuse me. Slayers,
Taeja.
Taeja.
We're even.
How deeply embarrassing. No siege mode up yet for Boxer. Oh, that is going to be huge. The Hellions can easily slither their way up into the main and deal the exact same level of damage back. As we even go to the army tab, we see the army supply from Taeja is much, much greater. It's all going to come down to these turrets. Can he manage to stay alive? Taeja doesn't have siege mode himself.
Almost losing one Banshee there to the turret. Can Boxer repair it in time? No, he can't. Defense drone proving to be extremely effective here. The Hellions completely getting destroyed there because the tanks were able to fight them in a straight-up battle. But this is what we're talking about, Sean. Can these Banshees start harassing everything effectively? The Raven proving to be extremely annoying. Boxer has no anti-air on the field quite yet. He is working on 2 Thors right here, which aren't done quite yet. So this is Taeja's moment to shine, to try and cause a lot of damage here. Even sneaking a siege tank now into the natural. I think that may have been a misrally. He needs to make sure to keep all these units alive. And right now, he seems content just sitting here. But once the Thors are on the field, he may be able to use those extremely effectively versus these air units. But right now, I mean, Boxer is very vulnerable here while he waits for these Thors.
Now the Thors have popped out onto the field. One missed volley can do massive damage. He does manage to kill off some of those units. And wow! Point defense drone at the last second managing to keep it alive. And now it looks like Boxer is ready to roll out.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you worked that in there, Sean, because now there's siege tanks, Thors, Hellions in that mix. The supply 111 to 80. You did mention the army count, though, is still, I believe, going to be fairly even for both these players. And it's going to take Boxer a long time to get out across the map. Now, he may be looking to expand here as he was in a defensive position there, but no, is instead going to be moving out here. He's been a little indecisive on exactly what to do here. But I mean, after you've killed 31 workers, you can play it safe. Although right now, Sean, just looking at the production tab, is he expanding? Yes, he does have a command center on the way. So does Taeja in the top left side, though. So I feel like this is still anyone's game. Boxer, though, got to be feeling confident with these Thors. They are such a strong unit in TvT. You can use them to absorb the splash damage from the siege tank and just kind of march in there, which is exactly what he's going to attempt to do. Does that Raven have enough energy for the point defense drone? It looks like it will. So again, it's going to come down, I would say, most likely to that point defense drone.
I mean, Boxer has a surprisingly small amount of Hellions. That's one of the units that really allows you to have the aggression on full blast. And look at this, a single Hellion heads up to the top left. Great expansion management. Boxer is playing this game out nearly perfectly.
Now, is he going to overextend himself here, though? As Hellions are slipping by right there. Boxer, I think, caught a glimpse of that. Oh, nope, he's going to be prepared for that just fine. He needs to make sure that he leaves ample defense at home. And look at this, Sean. He's going to start trying to do a hard contain here with missile turrets going to be going down right here. That will help with the point defense drones, just absorbing the energy. And a Thor may be marching all the way back home to attempt, I would assume, to intercept these Hellions. Thors do a surprising amount of damage versus them. He may get a couple of free shots here. Oh, the Thor going the complete wrong way there to do that. But right now, one missile turret is done. Is Taeja going to be able to break this? He's got 2 Thors of his own to try and run down here, and the Banshees are going to be taking out the missile turret as Boxer did not leave very many units here at all. What a brilliant choice by Taeja to move in here, as Boxer, I feel like he way overextended himself in this situation, and they may be ending up losing this Thor as well. So poor unit management here as that Thor was attacking a barracks, and this game quickly spiraling out of control.
Oh, Boxer was spread a little too thin, thought he was at a gigantic advantage, and wanted to make sure he was defended in so many different locations. Taeja collected all his units together and attacked the key one, the contain at the front of his base, and now suddenly Boxer is the player on the retreat. Another auto turret gets planted, and it looks like with these Thors, Taeja is able to overrun Boxer's defense at the front. What an incredible counter swing to Thors. So beautiful, beautiful at breaking through those tank contains.
Now the Raven did go down. Boxer has another Thor of his own on the way, trying to repair these tanks with the SCVs. You can just see how much damage Thors to the +1 attack do. SCVs now pulled all the way off the line. Boxer is committing here to try and take this out. There's no units to back it up, though, and all of these SCVs are going to get absolutely annihilated. So I would say we're fairly even in the amount of workers killed, 32 to 35. And so Boxer now, I mean, Taeja has been able to recover from the amount of SCVs he lost before, and now it's going to be up to Boxer to try and do just that. But again, Sean, I think this shows the importance of, if you're a meching Terran, keeping your units together. That's when they're going to be most strong, but Boxer's spread way too thin there. He is going to try to expand up here. Now, you got to remember, he will have 2 expansions on his opponent if he can get them mining. But right now, he's got a much bigger problem, which is dealing with this army knocking at his front door, and it's going to be tough, which now this expansion down here has been scouted. The one up here, not quite yet. It's just really, Sean, at this point, Boxer has to deal with this contain.
I mean, Boxer has almost no units. He's running low on minerals. Taeja continuing to step forward. These Thors, great, great units in those small numbers. We ordinarily don't see him until the far late game, but Taeja doing a perfect timing. Now Boxer's going to have the brilliant tactical positioning, but I don't actually know if he can withstand this kind of pressure for much longer.
Right, especially since it's 129 supply to 70. It's got to be tough. He's got to try and run down here to clean these out. He sees a window of opportunity and takes it. Now he has to deal with 3 Thors, though, with unsieged tanks, which is not a good spot for him to be in, as Thors just do so much damage here. Now, can he do the focus firing that he needs? SCB's brought up the line to get him here. Thors shoot extremely slow. Is he going to clean it up? It's hard to tell. There's still 2 tanks remaining, and this last Thor able to do a lot of damage. Now, you got to remember, though, 54 supply to 106 means Taeja can continually rallying units over here. And is that Boxer expanding down to the bottom center? Is he attempting to be that sneaky? Yes, he is. I don't think Taeja would ever expect that to be there. So if Boxer can hold on to these, then he will be able to catch back up in the macro. But for now, Taeja is going to have a huge army lead.
Taeja looking very, very good at this point in time. Just containing, securing his expansions, and in the unit counting station, we see 29 workers for Boxer versus the 63 for Taeja, and Taeja has complete dominance over the center, and even a single Viking spots the sneaky command center. All Boxer has is this northern location, has not yet been scouted by Taeja, but because Taeja did find that southern command center, he's going to know that there could be something sneaky going on up north.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Boxer needs to do in a situation like this. Take big risks to try and get caught back up. I mean, if he left both those command centers unscouted, then he would have been able to catch up. He could have been making 4 SCVs at a time. Right now you see him making 3 to his opponent's 0, and it looks like it tried to land over here. This command center has a very low chance of survival. The contain is still in full effect here. Now Taeja needs to make sure not to make the same mistake where he stays there too long and overstays his welcome. Not that he's going to be very welcome at Boxer's house right now, but at this point, they are going to be even in expansions right now, but just look at the production tab. That just kind of speaks volumes as to exactly what's going on. I mean, Taeja making a lot of stuff while Boxer focused, making just workers to try and catch back up, and exactly double supply for Taeja right here.
Oh, now Taeja transferring all his workers up to the top left side. Taeja does not even need to do too much aggression. He just needs to keep bouncing back and forth between these expansions. And if I were Boxer here, this would almost certainly be the time to GG, maybe make one last final attempt, and it looks like Boxer will be attempting exactly that. Both players scan each other. Boxer has no hope to break through this line.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if he had a bunch of Thors, he could make it work. Even going to be doing the Thor drop, trying to cause some damage here, but the air superiority, I mean, it's really starting to come into effect here. 24 minutes in. Boxer now trying to run down the ramp with everything he's got. He's got all of his workers and all of his tanks. It is not going to be enough, Sean. I believe that Taeja is going to take this 3-2 right there, Sean. Wow, I think that this very last game, it definitely came down to the fact that Boxer way overextended himself. Even though he was in a good spot, he had good unit composition, he decided to try and be much more aggressive than we've seen him so far in this series, and that, I would say, was the deciding factor on who won this series.
And you know what's so funny to note is that Boxer looked so great in so many of these games.
Oh, yeah.
But there were so many moments where one little slip-up brought Taeja right back into the game, and Boxer was looking suddenly very, very dangerously positioned.
Yeah, I mean, TvT, always a methodical matchup. You got to have perfect unit positioning. You got to have your tanks in the perfect spot. Even having that one Thor out in the center of the map ended up costing him, I would say, that last one of the first engagements in the center during that contain. Both these players, though, showing they know each other's style very well, and they can make this series a nail-biter, making it 3-2. You cannot get much closer than that. So Boxer going to get bumped down to the losers bracket. I got to hand to Taeja, though, showing us just phenomenal TvT here.
I mean, if you want to beat Boxer, you're going to have to try hard, as he is continually showing why he is one of the pioneers of that TvT style, showing such great flair. But Taeja having great on-the-spot decision-making, going for the double starport opening that got completely decimated in this game and still managing to pull it back for the win. Very nice series. So Taeja will advance. What will be happening to Boxer in the lowers bracket, we will find out as the tournament continues. But for now, I'm Day9.
I'm Husky.
We will see you for more GeForce action. Just go to geforce.cvo.com. See you there.